and welcome to Zach's Garage, and welcome to another episode of Zach Chats. Today we're joined with a friend of mine who also happens to be the person who I would say probably started the scooter trend, Mr. Dakota Schuetz. So, Kota, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So basically the way this sort of works is I like to sort of dig into you more of a person, how you came to be sort of the business person, but also how you came to be in the scootering world. So the first thing I wanted to ask was, what made you think about, actually, you know what, I want to go spend 6 hours on a skate park on a scooter?
I mean, to start, I love sports like more than pretty much anything, so I love getting good at things. So I used to go to the skate park maybe every week with my brother when I was like 8 to 9. I was like there all the time learning tricks, but I never really found anything that I like loved to get really good at. Like I was good at rollerblading and okay at skateboarding, and then I tried BMX just on dirt jumps, and then one day when I was like maybe 9 or 10, I think I was around 10, that I went to the skate park and there was a kid on a scooter, just like a Razor Micro, what you would have here, just literally doing like, I don't know, the most random things like a manual or a 180, like nothing special. But to me that was so cool because I've been riding scooters since a little kid, just like around the neighborhood. Sure. I was like, no way you can do tricks on these. I thought it was the greatest thing, so I went and got my scooter, and then I was at the skate park every day probably for at least a year after that, just learning tricks and making them up, because at the time there was really no tricks to do. Like, everything we did was a new trick, so that's pretty cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, so I suppose that you go to skate parks now and you see people doing your tricks.
Yeah, but also other people that I was around, their tricks also, because there's a really small group of people that started it. Like it was like a small group from California, New York, London, and maybe Australia. Like that, those 4 like little small groups made scootering.
See, it's interesting because I mean, me growing up, I never really went to skate parks, but as you said, when you first went to scooter, you thought, no way can people do tricks. You think of a skate park, well, it's actually in the name, skateboarding. Yeah. You don't think scootering. But what did you find that made the big switch to make scootering a mainstream sort of, not, I don't know if you can call it an extreme sport, but like a mainstream sport?
I would say the main benefits we had is the younger demographic of kids that are really interested in learning things and just learn trick, new trick. We also had the benefit of social media, so like we had Facebook came out when scootering started, YouTube came out when scootering started, Instagram came out, so like everything new was like with scootering. So like It was much easier for me to show you, like I just landed a backflip, then you showed your friend, so like instantly you have 1,000 people saw you did a backflip. And like skateboarding, when that was coming up, like you had no internet, no nothing. It was just like you go to the skate park, or not even a skate park, and just see kids on a skateboard, and like that's how it became popular over like 30 years. We had like a 5-year just like direct shoot.
Yeah.
It was good because from like 2009 to 2012 was like complete on 100 miles an hour north.
Really?
Yeah. It was
and
good.
So did you find, so you mentioned to me yesterday about the fact that you've always been recognised in skate parks and things like that. Do you still go to skate parks and find that, so someone at your level, and you are the top at your game, do you find that you can still go to a skate park and enjoy sort of learning stuff, or have you sort of go there just almost to keep it going and to teach other people and to just be around other people who have the similar hobbies?
Yeah, it was probably a hard one, because like for me, my whole career was go to the skate park to learn this, or go to the skate park to like get better than I was yesterday. Like there was no fun. Like of course I have fun getting good at things, but there was no purpose to have fun. It goes like, there's the end goal, be very good at scooter riding or the best, and like along the way, whatever I need to do, like I'll do it.
Sure.
So now it's a little bit different because I don't really, like I just scooter for fun now. Like I don't really compete as much. So I would say now I go to the skate park just to mess around. Like I still can do crazy tricks, but it's not like I go there to like kill myself to learn a double flare something or whatever.
Sure.
Like I don't mind to do those things, but it's more like I have like competition mode and fun mode, and most of the time I just like mess around and have fun with the kids.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in competition mode, like there's like you have to do certain tricks. You know what you're supposed to do. Like you need to practice like double backflip like 100 times to make sure you can do it every time. So it's not like mess around, learn this over there, learn this over here. It's like you have like a strict regimen, or at least I do, like regimen of like what I need to do today.
Sure. And so on that, do you find that, so for instance, we'll take a double backflip, for instance. If I said to you now, go do 3 double backflips, would you land every single one? Guaranteed.
Like right now?
Right now. If I gave you your scooter right now, you had a ramp that was suitable, or do you find that if someone says to you, right, you're going to do a competition, or would you like to do this competition, do you think, actually, you know what, I need to sort of almost brush up on certain things that I don't do because you do it for fun?
Yeah, I would say, like, you gave me a week, I would be back to complete machine.
Yeah.
But I could go to like maybe 80% now, but like to hone in like the tiny little things that I know in my mind, but I need to like make sure my body can do it, which it can. It's just like little like mental tricks, probably take a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that's like full blast.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And so, on the topic of your body, how many injuries have you had?
Not that many. I'm sure I had like 1,000 sprains and stuff, but the only broken bones I've had is, I don't know, a few fingers, this knuckle, this wrist is metal, had a few concussions. That's about it. I mean, I wear a lot of like knee pads and mouth guard and elbow pad and helmet, so like as long as you kind of know what you're getting into when you fall, then you're okay. It's like the unexpected falls that you have no control of. So I'd say like for me, it's all like scootering is calculation, or any sport.
Yeah.
Like I go into it, like examine like when I do this trick, like I'm going to go here, land there. If I fall, I'm going to hit that. So I kind of know what's going on most of the time.
Yeah. And so I know, jumping from one thing to another, outside of the scootering world, you and I have talked things that you do in business. Is there something like bits of business that you do outside of scootering that you can share with people? Because to some people, certain businesses are quite like kept under wraps. But as I said, like basically what I'm asking is, outside of scootering, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, since a kid, like my first business I started at 11. So it was an aftermarket scooter business. So we made and put together scooters. So say you bought a Razor scooter, like we would modify the scooter, the grip tape, the wheels, we would make the handlebars, paint the handlebars, like anything you could customize, like a Koenigsegg, like it's the same. Like you'd pick, like I want a red grip tape with my name in it, like we would make it somehow. And so me and my brother did that for a long time, maybe 3 years, and it was the most popular website in the world for aftermarket scooter parts. And then after that, I started getting into more like scooter manufacturing, so like making scooters from scratch, so like Kota signature models, different aftermarket parts that I marketed, and that was fun. It's just the manufacturing side of the world it's a good business, but it's a lot of work because like dealing with China and dealing with everybody, it's like you have to go there or have somebody there that making sure like this is perfect quality and nobody's gonna copy it, because like in China, there's nobody there that's like watching your parts, like, and you come along and see my part in the Chinese factory, like, hey, you want this? Sure. Like, they have no
Yeah.
they have no problem with copying anybody, because it's just not in their mindset. They just don't care. So that was probably like till 18, I did all aftermarket parts and manufacturing scooters, and then maybe like 18, 19, I started getting into like the app market. We made Kota magazine, which was basically like a social media magazine for scootering. So imagine like how you have Instagram. Imagine we made an Instagram type feed for all of scootering. So we had all the riders, all their bio, all their stats, all their social media accounts. You could see upcoming competitions. You could see like where the nearest skate park is. So like pretty much all in scootering was in one app.
Okay.
And then maybe like a year and a half, I sold that to somebody. And then now I've been doing, I mean, normal business that I do all the time. We do a lot of like, whether it be financial investment stuff or micro mobility, I mean, probably in the next year you'll see kind of what I do in a bunch of magazines, hopefully, like when all the projects hit. But it's been a fun, like I'm 24, I've probably been doing this kind of stuff since 17 full speed, so like 7 years of just full business. So it's been good. I think this year, 2020, was a good opportunity for me to take some time and really focus on that more, because I was kind of in like one place doing stuff. So it's been good. I mean, 2020 is either a real wreck for people or a real benefit to people.
Yeah, and that's, it's funny because in the business world, it's like, for example, the whole reason why I started this series was because business people and people I knew in the car world and friends and business colleagues, they didn't have spare time, but they had time to want to share what they were doing at this point. Because some people sit down and go, oh, what's happening at the moment has destroyed me. And other people going, it's destroyed me, but I think I can make something out of this, because there's a lot more niches opened up. So it's an interesting one.
And also 2020, like no matter the downsides, like of course there's a ton, I think it's a great opportunity for the world and everybody to take a break.
Yeah.
Like think about most families, like you went to work and came back and saw, if you had kids, like 2 hours a day. Now some dads and moms like got to spend like 5 months or more with their kids like nonstop. So like that time might not come back again.
It's true, and I think some of that might be meaning that kids are going up for adoption or parents are getting divorced, but I'm sure there are some good things. So as this is a semi-car channel, I've got to ask you about your automotive side. Yeah. So you're into basically anything with wheels. Do you want to talk about your vehicles?
Yeah. I mean, to get into cars, like first, like I was born into, I guess, sports and racing family. Like my dad, when I was probably 1, bought a funny car, so like the drag strip cars. Like he just did it for fun. Like he had a funny car, built it, found everywhere to find the parts and whatever, and so he built one of those. And he had that for a few years, and then so I got to go to like every track every weekend when I was 2, so like all the way around. And my dad managed a lot of like the drag racing guys for like the next couple of years. So I was still like continuing like at a racetrack every day. Like this is like not a racetrack, like nitro funny cars, like
yeah.
If you've never been to a race, like blow your mind. So that's how I started, and then like from there, my dad always had some different cars, and then I was always like traveling around, and I like cars, so I'd always like go to a Ferrari dealership and see the new cars. Like I'm like an encyclopedia of cars, like Zach is. I love cars. Then when I was 10, I went to a Ferrari dealership, and I was going to like buy a hat for my birthday, and the guy, his credit card machine wasn't working, so he gave me the hat for free. So like after that, I was like, I'm gonna buy either the Ferrari or the Ferrari dealership when I can, as a thank you. So that was a cool experience for me. So that was like, I lived in the DuPont registry, if you know what that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That was my magazine.
Yeah.
I knew every car, every price, all the mileage. So that was what I grew up on. And then I started traveling when I was 12 all around. So I always got to see cool cars, or like meet you with cool cars and stuff like that. So I was always around things that I liked. And then maybe 15 and a half, you can get your permit license in America. I got my choice, from what I remember, was either buy Ferrari F430 or Mercedes Sprinter RV, and I'm glad I decided the Mercedes Sprinter RV because I still have it. It's at Zach's house here, and basically like I took that thing literally all around the world multiple times, and had some good memories in it. So I'm glad I chose that over a crazy car, because I would have gone nowhere, and I'd just sit like, it'd be like these cars.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean,
no, they're cool cars, but it's like I rather made the good decision of having like a purpose vehicle for like my career at the time versus like a fast car for fun or whatever.
Yeah, and there'll come a point where you'll get a fast car.
Yeah, no, of course. But now recently, like my dad's like restoring cars, so we got a bunch of Datsun 240Zs, so like the Japanese sports cars from the 70s, and they're really fun cars. They're light. They really weigh nothing for what they are. So my dad has fun restoring those. He just restored one over the last few years to like perfection. It's amazing. Then we got a bunch more in line for him to do. I think maybe at 7. I don't know. Could be around there. And then Also, we're working on a 1970 911T. It's 2.2 liter, 4-speed, I believe. It's white with like black and plaid interior. Trying to think what else I have. Mercedes SL 83. It's all black. That's pretty fun. It's like a highway bomber. It's like the perfect California car. Like it's the epitome of California. That or like a 356 Speedster is like the perfect California car. Am I forgetting anything? I think there's.
I feel like you're forgetting one. Another
I have
Nissan?
a few E36 M3s. No, I had one. My brother has one now. I had like a E36 M3. To me, is like the best chassis for fun. Like the amount of like you could spend $6,000 and get the best driving car of all time. I had like Dynan supercharger, straight pipe exhaust, bigger injectors, and it was a great time. My brother has about the same one, but with a Euro spec head on it, so it's a lot more responsive. The car you're thinking of, I had an R32 Skyline GTR, which I got pretty stock. Then has BBS LM wheels, R888 tires. It's not straight pipe. I just took the exhaust off, so it's like it sounds like gunshots when you do two-step. It's wrapped like midnight purple, so it's like the dark purple color, but with a satin clear over it. Pretty cool. Then my dad made like a complete. We cut the bumper in half, like the rear bumper, and then made a complete rear diffuser underneath the car. So like full channel underneath the car. So like imagine you flip any of these cars over, they're just a flat piece of metal. So like that. It was a fun car. I didn't like the 4-wheel drive system. Of course, I probably could have took it out. I just never did. It just like because when you turn into a corner, there was like you had to wait like a millisecond compared to like an E36 M3, which is rear-wheel drive. You just like throw it into the corner and it just turns wherever you want. I mean, it's a different car, but
sure.
For a two-step, that was a good time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's cool. Sort of our generation, Fast and the Furious and all that, and that's.
But it's cool because I had it in California. It's right-hand drive, so you get out of the wrong side, and it's like you shut it off, and the people are just like, "What in the world happened?"
Yeah. No, that's very cool. And so, as you are very much involved in the social media world, how have you found that that social media has benefited your scootering career, if you will?
I would say for me, like growing up with social media has made a big difference. So like when I started, there was zero social media. So like for example, to send a sponsor video to somebody, I posted a video on YouTube. So like the video, if you ever see like Dakota Schuetz and the first video that comes up, that was literally only made to send to a sponsor to get viewed because there was no WeTransfer, there was no Google Drive. Literally, like that was the only way for them to see it. You know, it happens to have, I don't know, 5 or 6 million views. But one thing that's cool about social media is like anytime I go to a skate park, somebody at the skate park or somebody in the world has seen a scooter or me on a scooter doing tricks. So like social media, YouTube in general, has benefited scootering and my career, of course, but it's just made it more accessible to people to show your talent or what you want to do or your cars or whatever. And it also gives people like a creative platform to make a living. So like for example, you have people that literally drive cars for fun and they make money to keep having fun and showing people about cars. So like the Stradman, like people like that, where it's just like they literally buy a car, I'm gonna drive it, watch the video, another car. It's amazing. Like it's awesome that YouTube figured that one out. But I'd say like social media has a lot of opportunities. For example, like if you want to go somewhere, you like DM a bunch of people that are from that area or from that your friends, like mutual friend or whatever. So it's much easier to connect with people around the world than if you had no social media, of course. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I would say most of my career is due to social media. Like all like the TV shows, like Ellen Show, like Guinness World Book of Records, like they always get a hold of me because they've seen like a YouTube video or social media account or something like that. So much easier to get seen, of course, on social media, but it's also cool to be off social media.
And so what was it like? I mean, I know that the Ellen Show is a very American thing, but then I know on YouTube all of the big things get put on there. Yeah. What was it like actually being on the Ellen Show?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, from before that I had a few TV show like experience. It wasn't
such as
I was on America's Got Talent and maybe one I'm forgetting, but I'll remember it. But so I kind of knew the setup of like how it is and stuff like that. So most of it is all planned out. Like they don't have a script, but you arrive there, you meet the people you're going to talk to. So like you stand here when I say go, you ride out here, do a double tail whip, meet Ellen, hang out for a second. Then like what was strange about the Ellen show is they had a ramp. Like I'm not gonna cut Ellen show, but the ramp was real sketchy.
Oh really?
And the problem was there was like the ramp and then there was a wall. So imagine when wind is coming against the wall and I'm in the air. I'm like,
oh, you just go, woof, yeah, straight gone.
Okay, so that was half the battle that day. But I was like on the Ellen show. As soon as I was done interviewing, they filmed the show live, so they just like edited it overnight. Talked to Ellen for, I don't know, a minute or two. Literally run behind the chairs through a tunnel onto the ramp within 15 seconds. And then they're like, okay, Kota, are you outside? Yeah. Drop in, did like a 30-second run. But like imagine, interview, ride straight, live TV, can't fall, whatever. It's wild. It's cool though, cool experience. But I think definitely amazing the platform like even TV presenters have to show. Because like that kind of brought scootering into a much broader demographic of people rather than just like the niche action sport fan. So that was definitely pretty cool. I think that's what a lot of people in action sports should strive to do is like be somewhere outside of action sports. Like so whether it be TV shows or demos or shows. So like I used to go to like every school and we did demos on like every school in Scandinavia. We did them in America. We did them in like Germany, Switzerland, I don't know, pretty much everywhere. So like all those kids forever, they've seen scootering or they've seen action sports. So like when they go to the skatepark, they're like, oh, I know this. It's just common sense to them.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that promotion has helped scootering be the biggest action sport, like by popularity.
And by pure chance, you're the head of scootering in the world, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so it's, well, I mean, it's very interesting to hear about that. I mean, it's very, very interesting.
I think it's cool because I've got to do a lot of cool things from scootering. So like the last 2 years I've with my brother and another company, Action Space, we've set up a lot of events or rider programs or like rider aid programs. So like for example, a lot of the profit we get from the events goes to like a fund where like if you break your foot and you don't have insurance, like this you can use this fund's money to like fix your leg or whatever like that. So that's what my brother does a lot is like stuff like that to give back to scootering. And this year for events, of course, like since COVID, we couldn't do much, so we did a lot of online events. But in the future, we got a lot of events planned for scootering and action sports because like I think it deserves a lot more credibility to the riders. Because like, imagine you're an NBA player making $5 million a year. Like, I know it's hard. Like I understand the complexity, but you got guys like literally almost dying every trick and landing on two wheels. Like the risk factor is much more than those people, and they get paid and compensated pretty much nothing compared to those people. So I'm trying to make it legitimate, get sponsors for those kids so they can kind of do what I like to do and just travel around and have fun riding a scooter because that's at the end of the day what they like to do.
Yeah, well, it's amazing seeing people's reaction to how you ride, and also it's amazing to see like from someone who is literally opposite of the stuff you guys do in terms of going to skate parks, doing action sports. I mean, you and I have been to some skate parks, and watching you teach people or just even listen to the people and see how they ride, I think it's fascinating, and to show that there is, because in a lot of sports, if let's say, I don't know, a professional NBA basketball, he's not going to go to a school and spend 15 minutes with one kid showing him how to play basketball. He'll probably turn up and go, look at me, and then teach the whole school.
Of course, you have the exception, but
oh yeah, no, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm talking in a very vague sense here. But then, I mean, do you find that the reason you quite enjoy, sort of, how would I say it? Enjoy working with the people you meet in terms of the younger audience. So, like going to a skate park and teaching, I don't know, the 10-year-old who's riding a scooter to do the smaller stuff, knowing that he may buy one of the scooters, but he'll always remember riding
for
with
me,
you.
like ever teaching somebody or giving people my time, like it's never for monetary value ever in my life. Like I never went to a competition to try to make money, never went to a demo to make money. Like I just do it because I like it. Like there's no, like if I don't like these shoes, like I'm not, it's
no,
like the
exactly.
same concept.
Yeah, exactly, but not a lot of people are like
No, I understand.
you know,
But for me, like I love learning and I love teaching people stuff. So like, for example, like I know so much about scootering and action sports. So like for me to spend like my 14 years of knowledge in 10 minutes on a kid, like that will change their scooter career, maybe life forever, because of just a few sentences that I can correct something.
Yeah, sure.
Because like for me, it's like watching, I don't know, I could just see the smallest mistake and you're like, move your foot there. And
It's suddenly,
like, I mean, you see that skate park, like, and I could teach stuff so fast because I just see the small imperfections. Because like everything in life is like you learn the basics of fundamentals of things. Like there could be like the same in racing cars or in scootering or painting or whatever.
For sure. No, absolutely.
But the problem is so many people like in this generation are so impatient and they want stuff like now. They don't want to like put the time in to learn this or go to the gym or stuff like that. So like, but you notice the difference if you really want to get good, if you learn the basics of anything, because then you know how to build from zero.
Yeah, yeah. And so you've done a lot of stuff through the scooter world and you've met some pretty interesting people. Have you got any stories to tell of interesting people? Not necessarily, but people you found interesting, or maybe you've met someone who's fairly well known and you've got a funny story or something like that. Because I know you've met a lot of people who are...
Yeah. I mean, what's cool about sports in general is like other people who are good at sports or good at anything appreciate it. So like my favorite like moments are any time that I'm with like Nico Rosberg, who's Formula One driver, or Felipe Massa. They're just like the same mental attitude as me. So like anytime we get together, it's always like the most competitive nature ever. Like whether it be foosball, ping pong, go-karting, or scootering. Like it's always like try to learn this, teach me this, how to do this. Like I'm gonna beat you at this. So like I like those type of people because it's always challenging to be around.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain the mindset. But for me and them, it's just like common sense. Like everything's competitive.
Yeah. Everything. You can be buttering toast. Whoever butters the toast fastest. Yeah.
But it's hard being in that mindset, like if you don't understand it, because it's hard to enjoy things because everything's a challenge. So like you don't really enjoy the challenge because you just are trying to get here.
Yeah, no, that
like
makes
it's really
sense.
hard to rewire your brain from being like the most competitive person ever to like enjoy the process of getting here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And have you ever, in your career, obviously you started off as someone who's wanted to learn how to ride scooters. Has there ever been a point in which you've gone, this is amazing? Like, whether it be from winning a world championship, or whether it be meeting your idol, or whether it be maybe whatever it may be. What was the one tipping point that you went, this is amazing? If there was one.
I don't know. Not really. I mean, like for me, like if I ever won something, it's a bad phrase. No. When I won competitions, there was never really like, I never celebrated anything because like it sounds cocky, but like I knew I was going to win. Like I go into that month, that week, that day, like I know I'm going to win if I land these tricks.
Yeah.
And like I compete against myself. Like I could care less who's there. Like I know that I trained hard enough. I know that I have the best tricks of the day. And if I land everything and the judges are normal, then I win. So when I won, it was more of like a relief more than a... there's never surprises. Like I'm either going to win or something's wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you ever go to... Is there people who you ride with or have ridden with who would actually, you go, if someone said, right, I'm challenging you to like a competition, who you would go, actually, I actually have to put some real effort into here?
Like in what type of competition?
I don't really, as I said, I don't understand scootering. But
so competition is like a set day in a set skate park, and you have like a 1 minute run for the event.
So take that scene for instance. Yeah. Is there a certain person or a certain set of people who, if they're at that competition competing against you, you'd go, actually, I'm semi-worried? No.
I mean, if I trained enough and I knew the skate park, no.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So I think that just proves that you really are.
But every world championship, everybody's there.
Yeah.
Or like the World Cup, everybody's there. So, I mean, the people, of course, like on the day, somebody can land something great, but like if you're consistently very good and you can land all these tricks like every single try, it definitely triumphs any one trick.
Individual trick.
I mean, of course, the last probably 4 years, there's been a group of people that have been like getting good consistently, but the benefit I had is from a kid. Like my dad was Olympian and Olympic trainer, so like he kind of taught me. I mean, of course, just growing up, like the mindset of us. So I knew like how to go to the gym. I knew how to train outside of scootering. Where literally when I went to a competition, like those kids only trained. They didn't train at all. They're just like learning tricks and putting them together in a run. Like I had it down to a science. Like I'm going to train this day, ride this amount of time, learn this trick by this day. Like everything was like to a T.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, like I had a massive head start for so many years, and now people are, I would say, catching up in terms of like the consistency factor. But I think the difference is when I was riding like full speed is there was a big jump of like how I could do the craziest tricks every try. Like of course now there's the level of tricks is a little bit higher, but like I could do anything I wanted every try. Like I'd go to the skate park, do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And so like at that time there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
So when I show up to a skate park or a competition, it's like, what is this? Like where did this kid come from? Because I literally just trained every day. Like I knew what was happening, knew what I wanted to do. Show up every weekend somewhere else, and definitely fun. But like eventually I got bored. Like it was like I mean all of this sounds cocky when I'm saying it, but like if you understand sports, you kind of understand it. But,
yeah.
Like I would go to a competition, and I kind of knew the result. I knew how I could ride, and the problem is, since I knew the boundaries, I couldn't push, because if I push myself, I'm either gonna get not first, or I have to like go moderate to get first. You understand? So like say I have a run in my head that's perfection, okay?
Yeah.
But I can do that simple. Like that is like
that's sort of like the base. That's the easiest. Yeah.
So in order to push myself to have fun or like to feel progression, I would have to go like over here, but there's a higher chance of me not getting
failing
first.
Okay.
So like the last few competitions I did, I like pushed it more for myself, and I could care less what the result is.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to be the best like I can be. I could care less. Like I've won enough things that I don't care.
Yeah.
So like there was like that part, and I don't know, I just got bored of all of it, and so kind of I still scooter a ton. I just find other things to get good at, because like I like progression, and now the next thing we're doing is electric scooter racing. So I think that's going to be the next sport I get to kind of help build, like I did scootering, like from the ground up. So we're like the first electric scooter racing series, first manufacturer, like all the steps are the same. But I think it'll be a lot faster because of like the popularity of micromobility. Like you go to London, you go to Paris, you go to anywhere in the world, like that's how people get around. So like for them to relate to seeing that on like racing is going to be pretty cool.
That's true. And also, I mean, so you're doing these this e-racing. Are you finding that sort of like the electric F1 series has benefited sort of pushing what you're doing, or do you think it's a stepping stone?
I think it's benefited, but it's also like eventually would be a partner, because it's like the same sort of crowd, the same sort of people. But it's crazy because, like for example, if you're a fan of F1, like you'll never get the feeling or anything like an F1 car, never, like as a normal fan. But as a scooter, like electric scooter racing, like you could go buy an electric scooter and kind of feel like somewhat like this is kind of what these guys are feeling, and that you'd be like, I like this, let's try it. And so like that, it's much, I think, an easier entry level to motorsport than any other racing. Like you could go from that to MotoGP, or you could go from that to F3 or stuff like that. So like it's the same concept, just a little bit easier stepping stone into motorsport.
And do you think there will be a different levels of the scooter racing? Will there be like, for instance, you've got Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1?
So the first one, I don't know what we're naming it yet.
No,
it's going to be the highest, like F1 type stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll have different racing underneath that with different specs. But we have like head of safety for F1, bunch of other people for the organization. So like it's structured like a perfect motorsport. Like if you looked at it compared to F1, Formula E, whatever. And so I think this year it's been a good planning year, and we're hoping to launch the first race in April 2021. That's going to be fun. Because like if you've never ridden a ridiculously fast electric scooter, I mean you have the bike, but man, the amount of grip you have in a corner, like you could literally like a motorcycle, just like lay the thing down and just go full speed around the corner.
And so what speed are we talking?
We haven't really fixed the limiting speed yet because it's going to be limited. Like there's no stopping electric. I would hope we limit it to like 80, 85 miles an hour just for the first season. But like you could make them so much faster.
And how fast are we getting to 80 miles an hour?
Oh. No more than 3 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. The problem I have is I can't get the front wheel to stick. Because like when you lean forward, there's not enough weight to like push on the front wheel to give it the stick you need. So that's the only main problem.
Yeah.
So like now we have it set 30-70 for like the power.
Oh, so it's actually two-wheel drive. There's power going to...
I had it 50-50 and you literally on acceleration, like, because the front wheel goes.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to adjust it, but it's gonna be cool because in the racing series, like you can adjust things like an F1 car. You can like tweak this, tweak that. I want more angle here, shorter bars, different. So definitely gonna be fun. The only issue I see is so many racing contracts for other race car drivers or MotoGP. Like they strictly limit them, like what you can't do outside.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like for me, I can do anything because I'm not in one of those contracts. But like Lewis Hamilton, like all these people, it'd be kind of hard to try that racing series because like they're so involved in one.
Yeah, and it's true.
So it's probably going to be for all the new racers like go-kart kids or things like that for the first years until they like legitimize who can enter and stuff like that. I think it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be definitely exciting. I'm testing the scooters with Williams on next week, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show any videos, but it'd be definitely cool because we'll have full engineers there. I'll like race the scooter, they switch the scooter, I said this is wrong, that's right, fix it again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Unbelievable.
So definitely
and so, in terms of anything you'd like to pass on, whether it be a piece of advice, something you'd like to promote, anything for the ending, what would it like to be? Is there anything you'd like to pass on to the audience?
I mean, in general, always dream bigger than you think, because like anything's possible, I promise you. Like look at the garage we're sitting in. Like Zach and his dad one day is like, I want this. Okay. And like you would sit there and think like on your couch watching TV in Montana, like nothing's possible. But like if you get up and make a plan and like figure out like this is what I want to do today, like just do today. Don't do like next week or next year. Of course you can have like an end goal, like I want to be here in 10 years, whatever that be. I would say that's number one goal, and also try to enjoy everything. Like don't just like, I mean, of course I'm the wrong person because I did it backwards, but I'm still telling you what to do. I would say try to enjoy like everything, whether that literally be like making coffee, like you've seen, like every day I try to make a better coffee than yesterday.
It's true. It's very true.
Just try to enjoy everything, whether that be with your family or just take time to enjoy things because like they go by real fast, and just people in general. Like we were talking the other day, like most people are not actually like, when I'm having a conversation with people, I try to like I'm in the conversation and I care what the person's talking about. Most people are kind of just like a wall. Like I ask a question, just ask a question. So I would say just be a human, like make a difference, because there's not many people like that in the world. Everybody wants something from somebody. So yeah, but definitely dream big, because I promise you, anything's possible. And not even for stuff, just for like doing cool things.
Yeah.
Because like so many people like say I want 50 houses, okay, but like once you get one house, you're like, I'm over it. Like it's cool.
That's true.
But it also takes, like, I'm sure your dad could attest to this, but once you have all this stuff and do all these things, you're like, like.
Yeah, it's very
like
true.
He has fun working on a gas pump.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
it's hard. It's really hard to explain unless you've been through it. But like it kind of, you go back to like normal life. Like you enjoy like going for a walk to a lake or like random stuff rather than like driving a coating site.
Or going off-roading.
Yeah, no, they're both cool. But it's just like once you do all the crazy stuff in terms of like your goals, and you kind of go back to like normal life.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, as always, thank you for coming on the channel for the first time. Hopefully it won't be the last time. But thanks for sitting down and being, well, fascinating to listen to. I mean, it's
So wait, when I'm 25, I'm 24, I'm allowed to drive a car.
yes.
So when that happens, and I was born in March, so we got like 6 more months, I'll come back and then we'll make an interesting video.
Yeah, and I'm old enough to ride a scooter, so when he goes to Williams, I'm going to go with him, and I'll do some photos. So, and that's the first time he's had that. I'm going with him. So yeah, that'll be a YouTube video in itself. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.